So I wrote and published my Bruce is a Wacko song. I hope you like it, because I think he's a wacko, and here's why I think he's a wacko. So I referred to Copilot AI. And this is the crust of the conversation of why I think Bruce is a wacko. So this video is for your own edification, to prove a point. I asked the question, what are the most liberal and non-religious states in America? And it confirmed what I had already known. And the answer is, the most liberal and non-religious states in America are often found in the Northeast and Pacific Northwest. Here are some of them. And that was the thing I mentioned. That's the crust of the whole conversation. And it confirms it. Massachusetts is one of the least religious states, with only 33% of adults identifying themselves as highly religious. What is that? 33 people out of 100? That's not a lot of people. It is also considered one of the most liberal states in the U.S., where progressive values and policies predominate. So that's the whole crust of the conversation. And he had a tizzy fit. New Hampshire, like Massachusetts, New Hampshire is also one of the least religious states, with only 33% of adults identifying themselves as highly religious. Again, what's that? 33 people out of 100 polled? That's nothing. Maine is another state in the Northeast that is considered to be one of the least religious states. Again, it's confirming what I had been saying. Vermont is the least religious state in the U.S. Oregon is considered one of the most liberal states in the U.S. and it is also among the least religious states. I know that to be true because I've been to Oregon. My sister lives there. It's the bastion of liberalism. Hardly anybody, in my opinion, is religious. You can't get people to go into the churches. They just don't care about religion, in my opinion. Washington is another state in the Pacific Northwest that is both liberal and non-religious. Again, it's confirming what I had been saying. Those two regions of the United States are heavily non-religious. And heavily Democrat and liberal and progressive. Connecticut. Oh, I know Connecticut. I've been there hundreds of times. Connecticut is among the least religious states and is also considered to be a liberal state. There you go. Those states typically prioritize social equality, environmental sustainability, and government intervention in areas like healthcare and education. They often have diverse populations and are more accepting of LGBTQ plus rights and minority groups. In electoral terms, they tend to support Democratic candidates and advocate for policies aligned with liberal ideologies. And that's the whole crux of the conversation. I also posed another question. Would New York City and California also fit into this model of being liberal, Democrat, and non-religious? Now, during my youth, I lived in New York City area. So I'm familiar with our area. And I lived for most of my life in California. And I literally Literally. Literally. I want to emphasize literally. I didn't even know who Jesus or what the Bible was till I was in my late 20s. Literally. I only found out about Jesus in my late 20s by accident, by flipping through the channel. Nobody that I knew was religious. Nobody cared about religion. My community, they might go to like mass for Christmas. They might celebrate Christmas and Easter, those holidays. Just going through the motions. But that was it. I literally had no religious friends or affiliations whatsoever. That's how liberal it was. It was relaxed. It wasn't taken seriously. I never knew anybody that took Jesus seriously growing up. Yes, both New York City and California generally fit into this model of being liberal Democrat leaning and less religious compared to other parts of the United States. Which is true in my opinion. Hardly anybody I knew went to church or took it seriously. They might go like on a Sunday just to go through the motions, but that was about it. I never had religious discussions with anybody up until the inception of like YouTube. Like I said, I didn't even know who Jesus was until I was in my mid-20s. Literally. New York City is known for its liberal political leanings. About 25% of New York City's residents are religiously unaffiliated. Manhattan is one of the boroughs of New York City has the most unaffiliated residents of 34%. Like I said, in this area of the United States, people don't take it all that seriously in my opinion. Yeah, we know about it. We'll do mass. We'll do the Seder, whatever. Culturally, yeah. But that's it. There's no fire and brimstone preachers. California is also known for its liberal political leanings. The state has a diverse religious landscape with a significant number of residents who are religiously unaffiliated. Again, I also lived in LA. I lived in California. I lived in San Francisco for a while. Hardly anybody I know goes to any religious service. Unless it's for like Christmas or a holiday like this. To take the kids out, for a treat, for like Easter egg hunting. But that's about it. Hardly anybody cares about religion in my opinion. And if they do, it's a casual thing. It's non-committed. Where was I? California is also known for its liberal political leanings. The state has a diverse religious landscape with a significant number of residents who are religiously unaffiliated. Yeah, like I said, it proves and confirms what I have always believed. But Bruce had to have a tizzy fit on Linda's channel. Democrats make up nearly half of registered voters in California. Like I said, it's not that serious. Religion isn't taken seriously. I never heard of a deathbed confession or a deathbed conversion. It just doesn't happen. It's important to note that while those general trends exist, there is still considerable diversity within those areas. There are many different communities and individuals with a wide range of beliefs and political affiliations. So while those generalizations are, I'm getting discombobulated, think about it. While those generalizations can provide a broad understanding, they may not apply to everyone in those areas. So we understand this. There are pockets of we understand this. But the vast majority, in my opinion, don't care. I haven't been inside a church or a place of worship in like what? Forever. I think maybe I went to a church, a local church in my local community, maybe like once for like Sunday Mass or something, like Sunday church, but that was it. But that was like, I don't know, 40 years ago or something like that. And one of the pastors gave us milk and cookies, and that was it. That was it. And that was it. We never discussed religion. We never discussed any of this. And I have to reiterate, I didn't know who Jesus was till I was in my mid-20s. I was like, what's the Bible? What's Noah? What's Genesis? What's a Bible? Because we never discussed it. And none of my friends were religious. None. I had a Buddhist friend, but he was like, I don't know, when I was in the 8th grade, I had a Japanese Buddhist friend who told me about reincarnation at one time. We had that conversation, and he mentioned like reincarnation, but that was it. It was literally like a 10-second conversation. And then we never had the discussion ever again. So yeah, what this is confirming is what I had already known. Those areas, those regions of the United States are not religious. You know what I mean? And if I pose the question, what are the most religious states in the United States? Let's see what it tells us. The most religious states in America today, based on the percentage of highly religious population, are as follows. Just as I suspected. But Bruce had to have a tizzy fit. Alabama, 77% of adults identified as religious. Mississippi, 77% of adults identified as religious. Tennessee, 73% of adults. Louisiana, 71% of adults. Arkansas, 70% of adults. South Carolina, 70% of adults. West Virginia, 69% of adults. Georgia, 66% of adults identified. Or identified. Oklahoma, 66% of adults identified. North Carolina, 65% of adults identify as religious. Those percentages are based on 4 measures: religious attendance, frequency of prayer, belief in God, and self-assessment of the importance of religion. Please note that those figures might vary slightly depending on the source and the methodology used in the survey. So in summary, red states, the Bible Belt, are highly more religious, in my opinion, than, say, the blue states and the Democrats and what we had established, which I had already previously known prior to the Bruce incident. So California isn't very religious, very progressive, and yeah, that's pretty much it. The Northeast and Pacific Northwest are very, very non-religious. So we have a divided nation. And yeah, that's my spiel. But Bruce had to have a tizzy fit. Unbelievable, my friends. Unbelievable. Like I had said, I did not grow up religious. I didn't grow up with any specific religion. I didn't even know who Jesus was until my mid-20s, like I had said. I was like, who's this Jesus guy? So that's all I got.